Which TV show had the most disappointing ending? Enjoy watching. What TV show disappointed the most? Write in the comments. It's interesting to watch. Story 1. Lost. I know GOT is more recent, but Lost was so fucking disappointing for me at the time. I thought it was all leading to something interesting. In the end, it's very clear they never had any idea where they were going. It was all just a giant mystery box for the sake of being a mystery box. And that was compelling until it was disappointing. Story 2. Dexter. The original show ended in the most ham-fisted way imaginable. The writers couldn't let Dexter just defeat the bad guy, die in the process, and end the show on a heroic, redeemable note. No, instead they had to kill nearly everyone the audience loves to subvert expectations, and then have Dexter fake his death. And then the spin-off wasn't that much better, with Dexter getting offed in the weirdest way possible and exposed by podunk law enforcement, who had a fraction of the expertise that anyone in Miami had. Seriously disappointing. Story 3. Hannibal. It was difficult for me at first to transition from Anthony Hopkins to Mads Mikkelsen. But in time, wow. Mads really brought Hannibal Lecter to life in such an amazing way. Silence of the Lambs probably featured the best Dr. Lecter. I wasn't that crazy about the Hannibal movie. There was too much gore, for shock value's sake. But the Hannibal series, wow, such terrific writing and acting, yet only 3 seasons. I really felt they could have gone at least another season. The ending, well, I just didn't like it. It left a possibility of them surviving. It should have been more certain, or go ahead and give one more season for the series. Story 4. Stargate Universe. The Stargate franchise is pretty rich. Stargate SG-1 set the stage. It was pretty epic. A lot of fun in so many ways. Stargate Atlantis was decent, some good acting and stories. I was a little disappointed in how it wrapped up, but liked it enough to re-watch some years later. Stargate Universe took a whole new pace and focus. It was very dark, and it moved too slowly for the first 4 episodes, but into Season 2 it showed really good potential. I was so looking forward to it revealing so many secrets to the ancients and the universe. But cut off, canceled, because ratings were struggling. They did a poor job of setting expectations. Too many fans so accustomed to the SG-1 episode styles were turned off. I'm really mad at them for not sticking with it. There have been so many rumors of a new Stargate series or movie coming around, but they die out and nothing happens. I think the fan base is there. So, what's the holdup? Story 5. How about Lost? Everyone's talking about God up in here fully understandably, but I honestly remember Lost as the god of its day for how it sucked people in hard and translated into real-life buzz and convo after each episode. It was an absolute rabbit hole right up until they had to tie it off, and then da fuck was that, please stop. I'm sort of tempted to rewatch now to see if it still hooks me like it did 20 or whatever years ago, but knowing how they shit out the conclusion explanation makes me not want to. Story 6. Dexter, GOT, Heroes, Lost, The Office, and Breaking Bad. Dexter was just a boring and weird ending. They should have left out the incest. Have you tried rewatching this Seems we all agree GOT was bad. I remember just falling to the ground and yelling why, then rewatching a few parts to make sure I just didn't get it. Heroes left off on a cliffhanger, but I haven't seen Reborn yet. I probably need to rewatch the series. The Office should have just ended when Michael moved. It just became a show with cameos and cringy character changes. They did Andy dirty and made him. Breaking Bad wasn't a terrible ending, but I think Walt's end was kind of a letdown. I was really hoping he would get arrested, show some court stuff, and maybe some prison time. I'm not a writer. Spare me, LOL. Lost was just confusing. The island was sort of a purgatory and also wasn't. So many things unanswered. Story 7. The answer for me will always be Westworld. I was absolutely blown away by how incredible Season 1 was. I would genuinely argue that Westworld Season 1 is the best TV show to ever be created. Then Season 2 came out. I was very excited, but it was like a completely different vibe. Yeah, all the characters were there, but the quality dropped significantly. And then Season 3 came out, and was so goddamn terrible I couldn't keep watching it. It was so bad. So bad, in fact, that I'm genuinely mad about it. Story 8. I am going to go with Neon Genesis Evangelion, the classic and remakes. Netflix one doesn't count. I love the series, but the endings were a bit convoluted, and I think if there were several kinds, there could have been a lot more for the kind of message that Anna was trying to convey, or at least the struggles, both positive and negative endings. On the flip side, I am expecting to see Lost in the comments here. People always say it, but like NGE and other deeper TV shows and movies, I don't care about the robots or special effects so much, but if that floats others' boats, then fine. But I actually liked the ending of Lost and understood the whole thing. It was actually quite the spiritual experience for me, personally at the time. Story 9. Game of Thrones is a damn tragedy. Not only did Benioff and Weiss rush it and ruin the show, I don't think I'll ever rewatch it, but they also pushed a lot of people away from the entire series. I know a lot of people don't want to read the books now, and well, Winds of Winter may never release, and Dream of Spring will definitely not release. And many don't want to give House of the Dragon a chance either because of it, even though it's good IMO. Let's hope that show sticks the landing, so it can be a full series that people can rewatch and enjoy. Considering that story is already fully written, I think the chances are a bit better. Story 10, Deadwood. Motherfucking cock-sucking Deadwood. The movie was a nice gesture, but fuck HBO for leaving the fans with the Season 3 cliffhanger that segued into a cancellation. God, I would pay almost any amount of money that I have to get one more season of Al Swearingen talking through his problems to himself while getting a blowjob from one of his whores. Story 11. For me, it's Gilmore Girls. I love that show so much. Every season, every episode. It was my comfort show, but the ending was so rushed. It didn't even feel like the show was going to conclude. It felt like a normal episode as usual. The last episodes seemed like everything was just forced to happen at once. I wish they could have done one more season to bring all the character arcs and relationships into place for a satisfying end. Story 12. God had a pretty bad final few seasons, as characters ended up with literally reversed personalities in some cases. Hemim has been ragged on plenty. But for me, I think I'm going to say Scrubs. The show started strong, slumped, and came back for a pretty good final season, and an absolutely perfect finale. Seriously, JD walking out of there to the Book of Love while reminiscing about all the people who came through the hospital in his time there. He cleared his past to move on into his future. It was a flawless ending. We all know what we imagined happened next, but it's just a collective delusion. We know nothing really happened after the end of that season. Nothing. It wasn't real. Story 13 OP may as well written shit on GOT. In the UK, we had an excellent police detective drama called Line of Duty. Totally epic show which ran for many seasons, which kept referencing the elusive H as the man at the top. Turned out it was just a random idiot who they caught and he went, "Yeah, it was me." Total bullshit. Ignored a lot of nods to other higher-ups. The characters did some mental things, and I'm angry they did this to a show when they could have so easily left it as an "it could be anyone, don't trust authority" message. Nope, it was the random ginger fella all along. Story 14, Supernatural. They really baited fans who have moved on to better stuff with the Castiel love confession, then pulled an ending which basically has ruined the development of Dean, and also kind of got rid of the overarching theme of family doesn't end in blood. I know they had problems due to COVID, but you ruined a show that you had years to think of properly ending when the lead actor not only wants to redo the ending, but also made his own spin-off to the show, trying to tie up loose ends. Story 15. I know everyone's saying GOT, but the unsung hero of this post has to be The Walking Dead. If you just look at the quality of the writing at the beginning of the series versus at the end, it's night and day. The last 3-4 seasons are just fucking ridiculous. Did we really need the CGI tiger, with characters doing things that are so far from how they behaved the entire rest of the show? So glad we now have 1,000 spin-offs to keep that tragedy going. Story 16, I'd say, apart from the other answers here, Lost. It went so far up its own backside that it was too convoluted to follow in an enjoyable way without looking up what everything meant online. Great cast, great potential, but let down by poor writing. Could have been an epic ending rather than, suck a big fat one. You've wasted hours on this and it was all make-believe. Story 17, Alf. Alf gets word from other aliens Alf's race found a new planet to rebuild Melmac, so Alf goes to meet his alien friends. Alf is intercepted by American government agents who will most likely dissect him, and the show ends with Alf being captured. That is it. The end of Alf and the show. He goes to leave, but the government catches him instead. The end. Story 18. I love the show, but hated the ending, and that show was Speechless on ABC, USA. I have cerebral palsy, and I loved that the show gave the disability community a voice in media, if that makes sense, as casting disabled actors isn't done much, sadly. What I will knock Speechless for. A few crap tie-ins. Star Wars tie-in, etc., as ABC is a part of the Walt Disney Company. I wanted an episode of Speechless, not a 23-minute, 30- commercials, for a movie I wasn't interested in. The ending. JJ graduated high school was the ending. That's good and all, but I wanted to see JJ go off to college and show that disabled people like me can and do go to college. I have a degree even. He was shown touring a college in an episode. It was a ruse to go to a filming of a movie in the plot. However, he grew to like the cinematography program and wanted to go to college for it. That's where ABC left us. High school graduation, wanting college. Then ABC canceled Speechless apparently due to low ratings. The show wasn't meant for everyone, it was meant to give the disability community a voice. Low ratings or not, it should have gone another season or two, but it capped at 3 seasons due to ABC Disney's decision. Bring Speechless back. Story 19. Orange is the New Black. Literally one of the most unsatisfying endings to a TV show ever made. I get that it's supposed to represent how things aren't fair or whatever, but there were several plot lines that were completely unresolved in the worst way possible. It's not like I was expecting a happy ending, but I was expecting closure that never truly came. It was like they just decided one day, welp, that's enough, we're done here. Wrote a half-assed ending, and then packed up and went home. It genuinely pissed me off. Story 20. Reboot. 1994 to 2001. Ended on a huge cliffhanger, and then the new rights holders strung the fan base along for years, going on and on about there was going to be 3 movies, 1 movie, then nothing. Eventually releasing a bland, generic reboot of the show that added live-action segments, including parts that purposely shit on the old, dedicated fan base that kept the series relevant for all these years, with a fat, basement-dwelling nerd character that had a bunch of merch and obsessed over the old show. Story 21. The Strain. They had to end it due to creative disputes, but the last 2 seasons just fell flat IMO. Like this show was already out there, but the kid pissed me off so much. I hate you. Asterisk detonated a nuke cause he angy asterisk. And then basically everyone dies except 3 characters. TF? The ending was just so weird too. They detonate a nuke under New York City, but this one apparently does 0 damage when the last 2 destroyed the whole ass place. All it did was kill the master and the annoying ass kid. Like Fox, WTF did I just watch? It felt almost World War Z-ish, but not the shit movie, but the actual book. Like there's a weird post-world vibe to it all, but they also say pretty quickly that the nuclear fallout climate stuff goes away like that, so what really was the Strigoi plan? I get it's all based off a book, but it just felt so built up to almost go nowhere. Story 22. Don't see Star Trek. Deep Space. 9 mention here, but it's gotta be up there. That show was just so good until everything just unraveled in the last season. Most of the problems can be traced to Terry Farrell quieting, because Rick Berman was being a complete asshole. Her character, Dax, was so key to the amazing cast chemistry that show had going on. Story 23. Lost. It was such a good show, and then, bam. The last 2 seasons made no sense to me. I still watched it all the way through, and the ending was so underwhelming. They all go to heaven or something. Come to find out, it's 'cause the writers were on strike, and so the producers had to make something up on the fly. This is still a sore spot, and I don't think I'll ever recover. One of the best shows in TV history, and ended so plain. Story 24. How I Met Your Mother. Everyone can say, got, but meeting the mother for 2-ish episodes, and her dying and Ted running to Robin was fucking ridiculous. Not to mention the last season was Robin's wedding to Barney. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Be sure to write comments and share your stories.